Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Women's Transformation Show. I'm your host, Kim Wilborn of womenstransformation.com, coming to you live from the San Francisco Bay Area. My mission is to help you connect to your true self so that you can experience the magic of manifesting your unique higher purpose, discovering your personal superpowers, and expressing them more and more every day. Together, we create a space where you can live a life that fully expresses who you are and what you love. I appreciate you sharing the show with your friends on Twitter and Facebook, and I invite you to visit me on youtube.com/Kim Wilborn, that's KIMWILBORN, where you'll find videos to help you raise your vibration. And I hope you'll download your free copy of my ebook, Raise Your Vibration in 2 minutes or less, at www.womens-transformation.com. And I want to offer you a sneak peek at my new coaching program. It's called Reinvent Yourself this summer. And you can find out more about it and get a free gift when you go to www.womens-transformation.com and click on coaching. Well, it's June 28th, 2012, and today our guest is Jennifer Lee. Jennifer Lee is the founder of Artizen Coaching, the author of The Right Brain Business Plan, a creative visual map for success, and has been featured in Whole Living, Entrepreneur, and Family Circle magazines. After a decade of climbing the corporate ladder at companies including Gap, Sony, and Universal, she took the leap in 2006 to pursue her passions full-time. And these passions include coaching, creativity, and living in alignment with her values. In her Life Unfolds blog, she chronicles musings about her personal journey of creative expression, exploring new things and unfolding her own life vision. Welcome to the show, Jen.
Hi, Kim. It's really great to be here. Thank you.
Oh, I love your book, The Right Brain Business Plan, and it seems to me that women can apply it not only to business, but also to their personal life. Have you found that to be true?
Definitely. I mean, there is certainly a business focus, but I think some of the main concepts around really being clear on what your vision is, what you're passionate about, what your values are, that's a core foundation for a successful business and obviously for a fulfilling life. So I think some of the fundamental principles certainly apply to life. Plus, the whole idea of taking that creative approach to coming up with your plan and to taking action can be a lot more inspiring, than just having a to-do list that you live your life by. So certainly can apply.
That's for sure. Well, in your blog, you say that over the course of your personal growth work, you've discovered that your purpose is to create space for beauty, breath, and being, to inspire yourself and others to live an authentic, full life. Can you tell us more about that right now?
Yeah, that was a really pivotal light bulb moment for me to embrace that idea of spaciousness, of beauty, and emotion and creativity, because certainly in our Western culture, and especially, coming from corporate, there's so much masculine energy, right? I mean, there's just a certain way to do things, very left brain. And actually, I think we're seeing a shift in this. And you were talking about raising the vibration and all of that, too. It's like there's a shift to more embracing the more softer leadership, that feminine quality, spaciousness, creativity, and that's really needed in the world right now. So having people really own that as a strength, I think, is quite empowering and is much needed. So I know there are a lot of other people who can relate to that and maybe didn't feel like they were very powerful or didn't have a voice or didn't feel like a leader, and yet it's actually what our world is craving right now.
It is empowering to think of it that way.
Yeah.
Well, since this show is all about transformation, I wanted to make sure and ask you what your own view is on the transformation that your work brings to your clients and to the world in general.
Such a deep question. So in terms of what the transformation is, and a lot of what I hear back to me from clients or people who've read my book or, have worked through some of my products is how, what a breath of fresh air and what a relief that they can embrace their creativity and intuition, like this huge permission slip to be themselves in how they live their lives and how they run their business. In fact, I was on Twitter the other day and somebody tweeted, they're like, I'm only on page 5 of your book and I'm already crying because it's speaking to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone tweeted back saying, like, wow, like what resonated with you? And she tweeted back saying, the fact that I have permission to be right-brained. And I thought, wow, that's really powerful. And it certainly is a theme that I hear of people saying, like, oh, my gosh, you mean really? I have permission to embrace these natural gifts that I have of creativity, of intuition, of, you know, being an emotional being, and have that inform, you know, how you're out there in the world. And so it opens up a whole lot for people. You know, when they, in the old way of feeling like I need to fit in the box, I need to live my life or run my business in a certain way and follow these rules, it's very stifling, especially for creative people. So having this kind of lid blown off that and getting the permission to be yourself is just so empowering and so inspiring, and that energy helps to create a lot of momentum for folks. So it's been really cool to see that light bulb moment happen for people. Really saying, like, oh, I get to lean into that. And, in fact, that's what helps me show up more authentically. It's what helps me, even in running a business, it helps you be more engaging, you know, to potential customers who can resonate with that. So the more you can be yourself, actually, the more powerful it is. So,
yeah, to really be able to come from your strengths for the first time.
Yeah, like, go figure.
Yeah, well, I know the right brain part of it is what attracted me to the book initially, and I really do want to recommend it not only to people who are have their own businesses, but also to just everyone, because I think you really can be more intentional, use it to be more intentional, and come from your strengths in creating your life consciously. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I've done a regular business plan, and it's awful. And the things in your book just really sparked a lot of things inside me, looking at the different things that people did and the different ways they tapped into their creativity to move their business and their life forward, like the lady that made the bracelet.
Right.
Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, and I love that we're going here because it's probably helpful to say what is a right brain business plan and all of that. So maybe we'll back up a second and then I'll get to the bracelet because that's really cool. So right brain business plan is basically a visual way to plan and vision for your business. So a lot of it involves, you know, collage, colors, drawings, really anything, whatever your creative medium of choice is, can be the format for how you do your plan. So I don't necessarily prescribe a format. That's part of the creative license of you getting to be you and authentically expressing you. But at the heart of it, it's, you know, moving totally away from having the 3-ring binder with the spreadsheets and all the, you know, printouts, 100-page Word document and then spreadsheets, right? It's not that. It's really whatever is going to inspire you, be tangible, colorful. So, again, a lot of vision boards, a lot of kind of art pieces that have a lot of meaning for the people who've created them. So it still covers the things that go into a business plan, like the vision, the products and services, who your target customers are, your pricing. It covers all of that, but in a much more fun and aesthetically pleasing way. So the example of the bracelet, this is a woman named Beverly Reeves who's out in Phoenix, Arizona, and she has several businesses, and I think this was for one of her specific businesses. And she created a leather cuff bracelet, and this was more of the tangible thing that she carried around with her. She had done more detailed stuff that wasn't necessarily on the bracelet. But what was great about this bracelet, I think it had like her 7 top points of her business plan, and each of the 7 points like had a bullet that was a rhinestone, like, you know, bedazzled. And so she had it typed out, you know, in a cool font, and she put that on the leather cuff bracelet with these studs, and she would wear it. And the great thing about it is it kept her in touch with the vision for her business, kept her grounded in that. Plus, people would always say, what's that? When you wear jewelry, it definitely catches people's attention. So it became a conversation starter for her to talk about her business. And I thought, how brilliant is that? Because part of, getting yourself out there and having your business be successful is engaging with, people who could be your potential customers. So what a great segue into a conversation about what she does. And people were always really excited and impressed and inspired by how she was approaching it. So very cool stuff.
Yeah, I especially loved that.
Yeah. So there's that one. That one I love because it's, you take it with you and people see it. There's also other formats that people have done of one of my other favorites is the paper plate mobile.
Mm-hmm.
This is by a woman named Lauren Brownstein in Washington, D.C., and she's made 3 Right Brain Business Plans over the course of 4 years it's been, or 5 years. And the paper plate mobile she did on different paper plates, like the vision, products and services, action plan, all the different sections. And she strung it together, with string, and she hung it above her desk. And she would see it all the time. And then when people would come to her office, they'd be like, what is that? So I thought that was another fun approach.
Well, it's always inspiring for me to just see what people come up with from within themselves when you put them in this space where they can do that.
Totally. I mean, it's another way of expressing who you are, and I think that's part of what excites people. And it's so much more telling of the person and, what their business is, or, if it's for your life, what's important to you, than reading it on a piece of paper.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, the other thing I do want to say, because sometimes, we're talking about all this creative stuff, and I know there are people who think, oh, but I'm not creative. I don't do arts and crafts, I don't draw, and they feel perhaps intimidated by this, and they maybe would prefer just being in a Word document, even though they want to be more creative. So I do want to address that and just say, your plan can look however you want. It's not about creating a masterpiece. It's about you having fun, So if it's just getting out colored sticky notes or using, a sparkly pink marker, whatever is going to get you excited, go with that. So don't worry about it looking pretty.
Well, speaking of that need or drive to make things look pretty and perfect, I subscribe to your newsletter that I love, and I recommend it to everybody. And we'll tell you later how you can get on Jen's list to get your own. But this month, I especially enjoyed your article with simple steps for getting unstuck. Can you share those with our listeners?
Oh, goodness. You might need, this is my blender, right? This is my smoothie story. Right, that one?
Yes.
Yes. I was making my morning smoothie, and I was in a rush, and I didn't cut up the pieces, into small enough pieces. So when I hit the blender, it got stuck. It was spinning around and not going anywhere. And how many times have you felt like that in your life, right? Like Scooby-Doo running, right? Running in place.
Yeah.
So in terms of getting unstuck, how that's a great metaphor for getting unstuck is, if you have big projects or big chunks of things that you're trying to stuff into your life all at once, at this high expectation you can get it done, are there ways that you can cut them up into smaller pieces? And then also, where can you get help? I added a little bit more coconut water to my smoothie, and that got things going too. So, if there's something you can add in or somebody who can help you get more flow into your project or your work, whatever it is you're doing. And the other thing is sometimes you just have to hit the pause button.
I like that.
I could have just kept trying to have it go, because sometimes it'll speed up and it'll catch and the smoothie will start going, but it really was going nowhere, and I literally had to press pause and rearrange things. And sometimes we have to do that in our life and kind of say, this isn't working. Let me just pause here and reflect, maybe rearrange things. It could even be just by the mere fact of pausing that you can kind of shift things and just be more conscious about what you're doing. So, those are some tips on how to get unstuck and kind of how my mind works, finding metaphors and lessons in everything, even my green smoothie.
Oh, I love that. And I love that it was simple steps, because I think most of us, we just keep pushing, blend, because we don't know what else to do, and we think it would need like a whole fresh blender with all new ingredients, and we just can't face it. I love the way that you just had a couple simple things, and rearranging what you already had and maybe adding just one more element, and it made all the difference.
Totally, and it was a very delicious smoothie.
And we got to know that that's going to be the outcome no matter what.
Exactly.
Well, I want to make sure I remember to ask you, because you've got something neat on your blog called A Womanifesto, and I know my listeners would love hearing about it. Can you tell us about that?
Gosh, that was, I think, is that the one that has all the different phrases on it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I really love Lululemon, the yoga clothing store, and they have this really cool postcard, or it's even on their bags and stuff, of like all these mantras and things. And I was working on my life vision. This was several years back, and I thought, wouldn't it be great to have a visual representation of all the things that are important to me? And what I did was I took my values, I took, kind of my vision and what was important to me, and I created like this little postcard that had all these kind of mantras on it. Like, I think it had beauty, breath, and being. It had things about like follow my intuition. So just sayings that really inspired me and helped ground me in my authentic self. And I called that my Womanifesto. So yeah, if anyone wants to make their own, it doesn't need to be in that format, but basically it's, maybe getting a little index card and writing out some of your top values of what's most important to you, or what really brings you alive, or maybe even things that you're aspiring to. I think I had on there something like, I love my body. I don't always love my body, but it's something I aspire to, and that was certainly a touchstone for me.
I love that, because it was something that wasn't a big, huge project, but it was something I think would have a big impact, just getting clear and allowing those things to flow from deep within you out onto the paper, where you can see them and be reminded of them over and over.
Definitely, yeah. That's a lot of what my work is about, is helping you get in touch with what are those things that are important to you, what lights you up, and then creating a tangible reminder of what that is, so that it's physical and out there in the world, and you can see it and engage with it and have it be fun and creative. So, that's like how the Right Brain Business Plan is. That's how some of my other products are in terms of collaging. I have an Unfolding Your Life Vision Kit, and you can collage for your life and look at different aspects of your life. So that just is how I approach things. And then when I share it with others, when I make it for myself, people are like, that's really cool. I want to learn how to do that. I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe
right. Well,
idea
tell
there.
us more about this Unfolding Your Life, because collage is an important piece of my work. So I love spreading the word about different ways to do it and how powerful it can be. So you've actually got, is it a program or a product?
It is a kit, so it's a product. And then I also have licensed facilitators who lead the workshop in various areas for both Right Brain Business Plan and Unfolding Your Life Vision. With Unfolding Your Life Vision, it's this, I can't really explain it. It's this really cool way to fold like an accordion book. It kind of, do you remember like those fortune teller things that you make?
Yes.
Yeah, right? Kind of looks like that, a bunch of pages like that together. So it can be in all these weird angles, and it's really colorful. And what's great about it is that it's portable. You can kind of smush it up and stick it in your pocket or your purse. If you make vision boards, a lot of times we make it on big pieces of paper, and then we put it up for a while, and then it ends up in the closet.
Yeah, it becomes invisible after a while.
Exactly. So what's nice about this format is that it is portable. Sometimes I'll travel with mine. You can hang it. You can display it out on your desk. The other thing I love about collage is that you don't necessarily need any artistic skills. You just need to be able to cut or tear paper and glue. And any child can do that. So, it's a very accessible medium for people. And finding images can be so intuitive, a lot of finding the images and how they come together helps people get new insights as well. So that helps.
It's really the best way. Well, it's not maybe the best way, but it's an awesome way for people to access their deep inner wisdom.
Yeah, it's really amazing. And people get so inspired, and then they have this thing that they've created that reminds them of how they felt when they were making it and when they were in touch with their vision.
Well, how can they find out more about that?
Yeah, the Unfolding Your Life Vision Kit, they can find out more about that at unfoldingyourlifevision.com. So kind of a mouthful, but all one word.
Sounds perfect. Okay. And in alignment with that, what's one thing or the beginning of something that the listeners could do right now this week to really help themselves embrace their own creativity and intuition and allow it to move them forward in their lives, whether they're in business or not?
Mm-hmm. I think one of the most important things is, we had talked about taking that pause. A lot of times we don't do that in our lives. We're always rushing around to the next thing. So finding a moment to pause, maybe it's, after you listen to the show, maybe you take 5 minutes and just sit with your eyes closed, connect with your breath, feel what it's like in your body, and just notice, what comes up for you. Oftentimes when we allow ourselves to get, quiet, slow down, have that spaciousness, then we can really start to listen to that inner wisdom and take action from there, rather than, moving on to the next thing and being on the hamster wheel. So I think quieting down and getting in touch with that. And then once you're inspired to take action, you can't just live in your head and have all these great visions. You also need to be taking action. And action happens best when you come from that inspired place. So I think those all work nicely together.
Yeah. And how can the listeners get on your mailing list?
Yeah, there's a couple of options. One is on rightbrainbusinessplan.com. There's a little bar at the top, and if you click there, you can actually sign up to get free downloads from the book, and that includes a guided meditation and illustrated play sheets from the book, and you will also get the newsletter from that. I think also on that site, on the sidebar, there's a sign-up to get 10 tips to awaken your inner muse, and that's just more general creativity tips. But both of those will get you to my newsletter.
Oh, yeah, and I want to recommend it because it not only tells you what Jen is up to and what's new, but it also gives you great, helpful articles like the simple steps for getting unstuck that we talked about. So I know you'll want to get that and check it out.
Thank you.
You've also got something that's really neat. It's a live stream demo for making the year in review exploding box. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so this is a practice I've been doing for 3 years now, and I learned how to make this really cool exploding box. I can't really describe it. You have to kind of see it. I think how to get there, I think, is artizencoaching.com/resources, and then there's a tab that says live stream, and you click there. It's a little bit buried on the site, but that's a really fun resource because you get access to a recording that I did where I actually show you the box because it's hard to just explain it, in words. You need to see it. And then it also includes a PDF that has the templates so that you can create your own very easily. I made it super simple. You don't even need to measure. You just trace and cut. And that's a fun project to do for quarterly review, for end of the year stuff, or even for goal setting. So,
yeah, I really like that. I love things that are three-dimensional and creative like that, and really brings it into the physical world and then gets it just out of our head where it's just going around in circles.
Totally, and it's fun. So now I have 3 of them, and I can look back and see all that I did, and it helps me keep track and remember in a way that's fun. It's kind of like a scrapbook, but it's just a lot more unique and creative, and it's very interactive. So
yeah, and I think it helps you move forward to the next phase of your life more than a scrapbook, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
So now I mentioned Artizen Coaching, but they might not know the link to that, and if they're listening through iTunes, they won't have it on the page. So can you give them that link, because that's a big part of what you do as well.
Right. So my coaching site is artizencoaching.com, and that's A-R-T as in Tom, I-Z as in Zoo, E-N as in Nancy. So kind of a play on the, artisan thing with a bit of Zen in there. And that actually has a link to my shop, and that has all the products that are both business and life related. And that's where the live stream resources, and I do at least one live stream a month, and those are really fun to connect. It's like a video chat where I'm there broadcasting live via video, and then folks are there chatting in the chat room, and oftentimes we have lots of chatty people, and then there's a lot of great connections and conversations that happen. So
that sounds awesome. Oh, well, anything else special that you'd like to tell the listeners about?
Let's see. I think we covered so much. It's been a really fun conversation. I think one thing maybe to be on the watch for, especially if you sign up for the newsletter right away, I will very soon be announcing a new kit that has an aspect of collage and visioning, and it's called the Dreambox Kit, and so that's the next thing that's coming out that will be a nice, fun summer project for folks to do. So I look forward to getting that out into the world.
Oh, that sounds great. Oh, Jen, thank you so much for sharing all your inspiration and activation with us today. You've got so much to offer, and I hope that all the listeners will check out all the different spots. I love them all. Each one is a little different. So there's unfoldingyourlifevision.com, artizencoaching.com, and rightbrainbusinessplan.com. Is the last one right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I think you should check them all out. They've all got great stuff, and they take you a little bit deeper. Each one is a different doorway into Jennifer's world, and I think you'll really like it there.
Oh.
So thank you so much, Jennifer Lee, for being on my show today. It's just been such a pleasure to get to know you better and to listen to you share your message with my audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a wonderful way to start my morning. You've got really great energy. So you've raised my vibration. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So thank you, Jennifer Lee. And for all of you listening, I'm thinking of you this week, wishing you a wonderful week. And as always, this is Kim Wilborn, wishing you love and abundance.